All right, let's jump right in. There is a massive, hidden battle happening all around us every single day. And it's not fought with armies or on battlefields, but with lines of code. It's this silent, high-stakes conflict between the old, creaking technologies that secretly run our world and the brand new, modern systems trying to take their place. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this incredible digital tug-of-war. It all really boils down to this one question that, when you think about it, sounds kind of crazy in our hypermodern world. I mean, we have AI in our pockets and cars that can drive themselves. So why on earth do our most critical systems, I'm talking banks, airlines, even governments, still rely on technology that's literally 50 years old? It seems completely backward, but trust me, there are some fascinating reasons why. And to really get a sense of the scale here, just look at this number, 70%. What is that? Well, that's roughly the percentage of all the world's financial transactions that are still handled by old-school mainframe systems. Yep, your ATM withdrawal, that credit card swipe, your paycheck deposit, so much of it is running on the back of technology from the 60s and 70s, the backbone of the entire global economy. Wild, right? Okay, so to really understand this fight, we first have to get to know the fighters in the ring. What do we even mean when we say legacy versus modern? Let's break it down. So in one corner, you've got legacy systems. The best way to think of them is like a stubborn, old, reliable workhorse. They're monolithic, they were built to do one thing, and they do that one thing incredibly well. But man, do they hate change. And in the other corner, modern systems. These are the agile, ambitious disruptors. They're flexible, they live in the cloud, they're always evolving, and they're built to connect to, well, everything. One is all about unbreakable stability. The other is all about breakneck speed. Here's probably the best analogy you'll hear for this. Legacy tech is like the ancient plumbing system under a huge city. You never, ever see it, but it's absolutely essential for life to go on. Now imagine trying to replace it. You'd have to dig up every single street, disrupting everything and everyone, with massive costs and huge risks. And that's exactly why, most of the time, we just keep patching it up. But hold on, before we just hand the crown over to modern tech, we really have to understand why this old veteran is still in the fight at all. Because there are some surprisingly powerful reasons these systems have stuck around for half a century. So let's hear the case for the old guard. So why does it stick around? Well, there are 4 huge reasons. First, it is battle-tested. I mean, these systems just work. They've been working for decades. Second, companies have already sunk billions of dollars into them. But the last 2 are where it gets really interesting. They're tangled up in these incredibly complex webs with other systems, and they kind of benefit from this thing called security through obscurity. Basically, because so few people actually understand how they work anymore, they can be a much harder target for common cyber attacks. And this right here perfectly sums up the whole mindset. If you're the person in charge of keeping our financial system from collapsing, the risk of a catastrophic failure during some massive, shiny new upgrade is absolutely terrifying. So the unofficial motto just becomes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's pragmatic for sure, even if it is a little short-sighted. Okay, so that's the defending champ. Now let's shift gears and look at the challenger, modern technology. Because while legacy systems are all about keeping things the same, modern systems are about unlocking a world of new possibilities. And their promise is incredibly hard to ignore. So what's the big deal with the new stuff? Well, yeah, it's about speed and agility, of course. But it's also about things we just expect now, like having a slick banking app on your phone instead of some clunky, awful website. Modern systems are built to learn from data, to grow or shrink on demand, and to connect to everything from your smartwatch to the latest AI tools, unlocking things the old guard could never even dream of. Let's go back to our city analogy for a second. If legacy tech is that old plumbing, then modern tech is the new smart grid being built on top of the city. It's super efficient, it's intelligent, it can reroute power and manage everything in real time. It's built for the future. But, and this is the absolute key, it still needs to plug into the old foundations to actually get the power into the houses. It can't just float there on its own. Okay, it's time for the main event. We've defined the fighters, we get their strengths. Now it's time to put them head-to-head, across the battlegrounds that matter most. Cost, security, agility, and of course, the experience you get as a user. First up, Cost. And this one's a real paradox. At first glance, legacy systems seem cheap because, hey, they're already paid for. But the cost of maintaining them is astronomical, especially when you have to find the rare, super expensive specialists who still know 50-year-old code. Modern systems are the reverse. A bigger investment upfront, but your long-term costs are way more predictable and the talent is much easier to find. Now, security. And you know what? The winner here is not as obvious as you'd think. Old tech is often so isolated and weird that it's actually hard for hackers to attack. The huge problem, though, is if a flaw is found, getting a fix could take months or longer. Modern tech is more connected and exposed, but it's built to be patched almost instantly. It's like choosing between a sealed-off stone fortress with really slow guards and a busy airport with a lightning-fast security team. But when it comes to agility, oh, this is a total knockout, no contest. Think about how your phone's apps update. It's constant, it's fast. Now imagine trying to add a new feature to an old banking system. You could be waiting years. And that massive difference in speed is probably the single biggest reason companies are being forced to change. They just can't keep up. And finally, user experience. This is where all of us feel the difference every day. Legacy systems are why we still run into those clunky, text-based websites that look like they're from 1998. They're functional, but they're not friendly. Modern systems, on the other hand, are built around you, the user, with clean, intuitive interfaces that work perfectly on your phone and meet our ridiculously high standards for technology today. So, after that head-to-head clash, where does that leave us? What is the actual path forward here? Because this isn't just some abstract problem for a company's IT department. The outcome of this battle has real, tangible effects on all of our lives. This is why this should matter to you. The tension between old and new tech, it directly impacts the security of your money in the bank. It determines whether the system booking your flight is reliable or if it's going to crash. It's the reason government websites can be so painful to use. This hidden war has very, very public consequences. So how do you actually fix it? How do you replace a city's plumbing while millions of people are still trying to take a shower? You can't just flip a switch. It's this incredibly careful four-step journey. First, you have to map out all the old rusty pipes. Then you decide which critical section to fix first. Then comes the really hard part. You integrate or migrate, carefully connecting the new to the old. And finally, you realize it's a job that is never, ever truly finished. And that really leaves us with a big final question. As we look to the future, is the ultimate goal to completely rip out all that old plumbing, no matter the cost, no matter the disruption, or is the smarter path to focus on building better, stronger, more intelligent bridges between the reliable old world and the innovative new one? The answer to that is going to define our digital lives for decades to come.